Welcome to another episode of Prattle with Tré Vayne for connoisseurs of casual conversation. Each week, my guests and I will chit-chat about an obsession of theirs that piques their interest and their soul. And this week, we're on the hunt for a honey henny. They ask, what would you do for love? But is the only answer sink or swipe? Does modern love need an update? We're about to find out. Let's go. Beth Million, a name you'll hear a million more times as she turns it out in life with one of her many, many talents. She's an R&B singer, actor, and creative with a heart of gold and the voice of an angel. Everybody, please welcome Beth to Prattle. Welcome,
Thank
Beth.
you,
Looking
Tré.
gorgeous.
Thank
As
you.
always, welcome to the Prattle Couch. How are you? How have you been? How's 2024, y'all? This is the first episode in 2024. It's a fucking new day. It's a new year.
It really is. It's a new life, honestly.
Leap year,
No.
Olympic year, 2024 is going to be election year. It's going to be major.
Oh my gosh, I'm
All
not
those are
ready for
awful.
that.
All those
I
are
was like,
awful.
oh my god, you just sank that. But no, but yeah, definitely feeling great. 2024 is off to a great start. I feel like I turned 25 in 2023, so like that was like the year of realizing things. You know, what I
Kylie
mean?
Jenner said
Kylie
it first,
Jenner
and she said it
first.
best, and she did not.
And she did not lie. She would never. So this year, my resolution, okay, which kind of goes with the whole theme of this year, I'm trying to be an acquired taste this year, if that makes sense.
Ooh, that's delicious. You're trying to.
And this is as a recovering people pleaser.
Please. Wow, that's actually inspiring. That's beautiful. I feel like in my life, I've always been like my catch-22 is that I'm very palatable to a lot of people, and that's a superpower in a lot of ways because you can connect with people. You know, you can work a room, any
Right.
room, but it's also annoying because I was like, if everyone can like handle me, I'm not saying enough, and I'm not doing enough, and I'm not being specific enough about some things because people like to get crazy about like basic beliefs, and obviously you don't think I'm like really gung-ho about a lot of stuff if you just think that I'm
exactly. And the thing is, when I'm around
Acquired
my
taste.
like I want to be the licorice on the playground. I want some kids to go crazy over me, like they'll tussle over me, and some people are like, that's not for me, and that's so okay.
Wow.
But I haven't quite figured out how I'm gonna go about that, but it really is kind of like what you were saying, where you're like, I'm a very opinionated person, and it takes me feeling very, very safe in a space to be able to like really talk my shit, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But then it makes them like my own asides when I'm like looking in a mirror, like by myself, being like, girl, like
come harder.
Come
harder. Yeah.
Like give him something, like, say with your chest.
That's beautiful.
So yeah.
And for those who don't know Beth, Beth is just a professional, okay? Professional creative, professional singer, professional actor. Okay, we have EPs, we have albums, we have IMDb credits, like truly the one. So what are you most excited for in 2024?
Ooh, I am really excited for my EP to be like cohesively one project, because they've all been like these little songs that I've been working on for the past like 2 years. So that to come out as one, I'm not sure. I think the collab will be out by the time this is.
Ooh.
But I have a very cool Sephora collab coming up. I'm really excited about that, and they're like promoting me as like a independent artist, and it's like a Sephora Sounds program. So I think it just feels really good to know that like the art that you create or put out there in the world, like even if that's not still you and it's not something that you I guess can stand behind, the fact that it's evidence that you have existed in a certain way and it's going to resonate with whoever it's going to resonate with or without your help once it's already out there, is kind of like a really like refreshing experience to feel as an artist, where you're like, I don't have to stand 10 toes behind everything that I say and be that person always. Like I can just be that person, experience that, put it out there, and then anybody else who ends up being in that situation then can resonate with it, and then I can move on with my life instead of feeling like a brand is something that like holds you in, or like something, you know what I mean?
That is gorgeous. Wow, 2024 is the year of brand deals. 2024 is the year of incubator programs, EPs, and it just also might be the year of love. But Modern Love is sort of a different game. And we are going to open, that's our topic today is Modern Love. And we're going to open with, honestly, a quote. I'm going to quote Beth because Beth had a very, very hot take. And Beth said, online dating is the greatest pyramid scheme ever invented. There's no way around it. So are all currently single people doomed, Beth? Is it over? Is it done?
I don't think it is, but I feel like online dating requires a different form of stamina and a different type
Okay.
of dating than I guess real life dating. I'm not even gonna, it's like I don't know where that as someone who's like monogamy right now, you know what I mean? Like, and I love that for me, but like to be able to like witness what the dating scene looks like, especially post COVID,
Mhm.
is like what online dating was before. It's become like an even larger pyramid scheme where it's like there are these like uh this gatekeeping that happens that is not how real connection is made.
I
I
heard that
feel like.
Hinge I have not used Hinge before,
Mm.
but I heard that Hinge, like, hides the hottest people and the people you'd be most compatible with behind a paywall. It's like you can't even see them unless you, like, pay extra, and I think that's actually, like, really
Interesting.
insane and, like, a little evil. But what are your credentials? You said so you're monogamy, so
Yes.
you're in a relationship for how long?
So we are 4 years and a little bit. So in
Damn.
October we're gonna be 5 years. So and that was like I feel like my first like really serious boyfriend. And I love that because that's always what I wanted.
Yeah.
But when I was on these dating apps, and look, and this is already circulating around the internets, but to be a black woman
Oh
on
my
these
god.
dating apps,
Oh my
like, oh
god.
my gosh. And it doesn't matter like how, progress is happening. It's not happening quick enough on these apps, okay?
Especially when it's like especially in dating, it's like even the compliments are insults. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like even
Right.
the like the fetish fetishization?
Yeah, you got
Even the fetishization is like a little bit crazy. So this was what year were you on the apps? That was 2021.
Yeah, like
No,
I was
I
like,
can't
no,
count.
I was in the apps like, oh no, that's no, before that. I was like 2016 through like 2018.
And did you meet
early
your boyfriend on the
2019.
apps?
No.
Wow,
And
you
that's
wasted
what's
all that time
crazy.
with all those
No,
losers.
I put my
Wow,
back into those dating apps and I
damn.
was like, look, at least it's gonna do something. It's gonna create some sort of movement. But I think it's also
Some
because like I the way that I flirt as a Pisces, I just like care a lot what you're saying. Like I find like the like like cringe, but I think it's just because I haven't figured out exactly how to do that. And like when I'm acting
Mhm.
and I'm like flirting, then I'm like, oh yeah, I ate that. But then in real
Right.
life, I'm like, this is so awkward.
Well, flirting is just in general, it's just kind of like awkward and weird. Like, especially like I think that text-based romance is so dead. Like it's
Right.
I cannot find a connection with someone through texting people.
Right.
And like flirting
Right.
in messages is
Right.
just so awkward. 'Cause it's either like
Right.
because it's like, okay, I don't want to seem like psycho sex. We can get like like I don't want to be the
get
first
right-
person to
jump
get
right-
raunchy.
right.
But then it's like I don't want to be like, I don't know.
You don't want to be like your own assistant where you're like, okay, before this goes any further, date ASL. You know
Right,
what I mean? And
right.
you're like,
Yeah.
oh
You
my
want to keep
gosh.
it fresh. Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
It
Do you have a
felt
horror
so
story from your dating app era?
Oh my gosh. I mean,
Oh.
I mean, there's the occasional like you go on a date with someone and then y'all are seeing each other for a little bit. And by seeing each other, I just mean like it's
Fucking.
purely fit. Yeah, exactly. It's purely fit. Let's be honest. This is an arrangement. You know what I mean? And then you find out that at this point I was at NYU dorms, right? So I was
Mhm.
staying put in Manhattan. Like I was
Okay.
not going out there in Brooklyn.
Not
But
Star Trekking for the dick.
you find out that in their college that's literally in Brooklyn. It's not that far. Like I probably would have been able to find out, but because it was purely through the apps and we didn't like connect our circles outside of that the way like normal circles end up merging when you meet somebody in real life. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't know he had a whole ass girlfriend, which is
Mm.
like, I'm not gonna be the first. I was not the first, and I'm not gonna be the last.
Nowhere near the first,
but-
nowhere near the last. I also feel like in the gay scene that is like just that's always a reoccurring theme. It's really, really tragic.
Right.
I was last year, I was seeing this, like you said, arrangement with
Right.
this,
Right.
this guy. And it was great. The worst part of the story is that it was great until it wasn't.
Yeah.
And he would come over like 3 or 4 times a week. And it was just a really nice, like, hot situation. Anyways, long story short.
That's like a workout plan. Like you're
Right?
like, 3
Right,
days
I
a
know,
week,
it's
you're
my
like,
cardio.
okay.
But long story short, this is like 4 months in to seeing this person like 3 times a week,
Right.
which is like a lot. That's like not nothing.
Right.
I am like, trying to spruce it up, like
Right.
keep it fresh. So I was like, oh, like I have Scentbird. This is not sponsored, but Scentbird's actually great.
Yeah.
Just for $16, you get like pretty nice perfumes and clones. But so I had Scentbird, so I had this nice little like flowery
Yeah.
perfume. So I was like, okay, let me put it on, like, try it out. So I put it on and I opened the door. I'm like, hello. And then he goes, are you wearing perfume? And I was like, yeah, did you notice? Oh my God. He goes, oh, can you get in the shower? And I was like, wait. Or like, I was like, wait,
You're
no,
like,
you
you're
serious? I'm
pretending.
like, what? And I was like, what does that mean? He was like, oh, I think you should shower because I can't have the perfume on me. Because
Allergic?
no, he said, I can't have the perfume on me because I don't want my fiance
Hard
to
F.
smell.
Hard F. I realized as soon as I said that, it means something different.
Fiance's
Like,
hard
he
F.
really said
Hard
fiance.
fiance. I've been seeing this word for
My
4 months.
God.
And then I was like, obviously I freaked out. I was like, okay, that's like actually crazy, insane. What's the problem? He goes, what? I thought we were going to be casual. Yeah,
but
we are casual. You have a fucking fiance.
Fiance,
Like, yeah. So these cheaters are. Do you think it's
they really
harder? It's like easier to cheat now than ever in the modern age.
Yes and no.
Yes and
Yes
no.
and no, because your social print is everywhere.
Right, you'll be found.
You're gonna be found, babe.
Yeah.
Like, we're all, especially the girls. The girls know how to sleuth, okay? The girls are sleuthing.
The coming to as a woman, many women will come to as a woman.
Look, I got at least 3 homegirls I got receipts, okay? Before I'm even, like, questioning.
Yeah.
So I think really it's for everybody's safety that we just don't do that anymore.
Right.
But, and, like, outgrow it. And especially, like, now with the rise of, like, polyamory, open relationships, like, you can talk. Like, you can learn how to, like,
open your mouth, say what you want, and you could probably get that, yeah.
Right, but I did remember, actually, a horror story. The first time I went on the dating apps as a freshman, the first date I went to, I was like,
on a dating app is just a scary
Right,
side. It's a scary
especially
situation, especially for girls. Like, especially for girls.
But
Like,
it's okay. I went to, like, the Chipotle right in front of, like, my NYU dorm. So I was just like, we're gonna start slow.
it's cute.
This man's first date, it was a Chipotle.
That was the
Your
hot date at Chipotle, yeah.
Didn't pay for my bowl.
Oh, well, it is New York. It was probably $25.
Didn't even pay for the extra guac. Nothing. And then I went back. My friend said, "How was it?" I was like, "Yeah, like,
how old
it was
is he?
Nice." Much older than me.
You gotta pay for that.
Like maybe like 23, 24. Babe, I'm 18. I got $3 to my name, and you're now I'm overdrafted because I went on this shitty date with you. That's crazy.
I'm on a meal plan and you're having me pay for food. Oh no.
Damn, could have just got the Epstein.
Damn. No, the not paying is that's actually a little crazy. Since you didn't, so how did you meet your boyfriend if it wasn't from the apps?
So we actually met. Okay, very summer turned pretty, but like black people. Where I was like, I thought I knew every black person at NYU because, like, let's be honest, like, there's not a lot of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, I was looking,
like 3%,
and I was like,
right,
and I wasn't finding many. So I was like, okay. We met in a black theater studies class.
That's beautiful.
Like, so
That's
cute.
so beautiful.
First class of senior year. So I was on my hot girl shit. Like, I was going in, I was just coming off a breakup, so I was coming in hot. Like, I was ready to mess somebody up. Right. Like, I was not looking for love, right? I was just looking for violence.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, when I walked in, probably class of like 28 people. I mean, like 30 people, 28 girls, and then 3 guys. One or two of them who I think are queer, and then
that's
NYU. And then I was like,
that's
damn,
NYU. That's NYU.
To put our back into this one. But yeah, it just happened so naturally. Like, after class, I kept like raising my hand. I was in the back of the class because I'm senior. I was in the back of the class raising my hand a bunch. Didn't really have much to say, just so because he was in the front. So I wanted to like look back at me.
Aww.
So then I was like, forgot what I was saying.
Wait, okay. So wait, what's the title of this class? Everyone else was like, "Can we fucking go? Can we go, please? Like, can we?"
Like, literally. So that's how we met, and then we like walked home together after class, which is just everything I've ever wanted, right? Like, romance is not dead; it doesn't have to be dead, but just like we just
analog romance is alive, digital romance is dead.
Right? Like, it's
gotta be in the real world.
Wholesome. Like, let's go back to wholesome stories. Like, do I like?
You just want to go steady.
And I know people find love like on Hinge or whatever, but you have to really like be committed, like Excel sheet, like keep going. You're like, no, this is not to find.
It has to be a business. I feel like you have to,
Right.
like, it's like kind of like winning the lottery. It's like you just have to buy a lot of scratch offs.
Right.
Like you just have to go through it a lot, which like who
Right.
has the energy and the time for that,
Right.
honestly? And who has the energy for like the half-ass conversations?
Right.
Like certainly not.
Also, there's so many different dating apps. Like, I don't know
Too
how
many.
it feels like with you, like because you have a social media presence. Like, does
Mhm.
that help somewhat in the dating
It's
app?
actually so funny because
curious.
it's like I'm online and I post videos a lot, but like I don't have like a like following community. So like I like no one's ever only one time someone's ever mentioned, but I was back home too.
Right.
It's like because well, I guess it's like not regional, but I was in Virginia and I was on the Devil's Tinder, aka Grinder, which I don't call it a dating app. That's for
Right, right,
that's
right,
like a
right.
transactional.
That's
That's you know, that's like you're
Cash
going to the
App.
supermarket.
Right.
Cash App. And I was just talking to this guy and he goes, "Do you make videos on the internet? I feel like I've seen you before." And I don't know why. I just freaked out and blocked him immediately.
Oh.
Never said it again. But no one's ever mentioned, but I have not been on like dating apps.
You probably
like,
worked on that message for so long.
No,
like, let me
no,
pretend
it was,
like I don't.
This was not a fan. This was like, I think I've seen one of your shitty, stupid little videos before. But I've never, no. And even if I saw someone who was like, since I don't make that much content, I think it'd be weird if someone was like, "Oh, I've seen you on the internet." I was like,
right.
I mean, you've like, yeah, I don't think I
like
would.
yes and.
But I don't know. I also saw that some people are saying that like having sex with fans when you're, again, I'm not famous. When you're famous is a bad thing. But I don't think that's like that crazy.
But like
Don't
everybody does it. But I do think that like if you're not like, well, I feel like it depends like what famous means. Like internet famous is one thing because then like everybody talks about you on everybody's podcast. Where it's like the D'Amelios or who's that one guy who had the stand-up comedy show? Oh, Matt Rife. Like every podcast is like, wait, I dated Matt Rife. And he was like,
I hate saying it.
So then I was just like, if like I wouldn't call Matt Rife like famous for a good reason.
You know,
that makes sense. So then it's like, I don't know, but like, do you link your socials?
No. Like, no. I think I would.
There are some people who do that.
I would link my Instagram, I think, to like a Hinge or something, but but not on my Grinder. No. But I wouldn't link my TikTok though, because honestly, I love
your TikTok.
Well, I love my TikTok and I love making TikToks, but there is something just inherently cringy about dating and being a TikTok. Like, I just don't want to bring it. I really don't want to bring it up. But I am confident in the fact that like I have a TikTok where someone sees it, it's not cringy. You know, it's not like I'm like being like,
yeah, you got the stats, baby.
Well, no, I've actually been in my flop era, but it's always good to flop because that's how you reinvent yourself. But I really have been in my flop era. Another thing that you say you like about dating are dating TV shows. Yes. Do you believe that anyone is authentically looking for love on TV? I'm not sold. I think
you're not.
If you're on a TV show, I don't know. I'm not sold.
There are the few like wholesome like girls who like come in once in a while.
Yeah, okay, yeah, the romantics.
I'm not trying to be rude. I don't think any man is ever there actually for love. I don't believe that.
Right?
I don't believe that.
I don't think so
but
either.
like for example, like Deepti, Love is Blind. Mm-hmm. She was on it. Her like the person she ended up marrying, her fiance or whatever, was a fucking douche. Shake, I hate you. I'm so sorry.
Fuck you.
I'm not. But she was like incredible, like so well accomplished. When it's somebody who can like, you know, I don't know, like people who are like more so self-aware that this is a show and they're like, I'm not gonna get my hopes like all the way up, but I'm just gonna be open to the fact that like everything is digital right now and the highest likelihood of me potentially maybe meeting things that hit all of my the like criteria that I want could be like some sort of worldwide search. Like that's quite literally
honestly,
what it is, right? Otherwise, like everybody's in there like settling.
We have to break out the big guns,
you know?
and we can't settle.
But I do think that I would say like 98% are not looking for love.
Or just because it's like even I'm trying to think of the formats that I think work the best. Like The Bachelor, Bachelorette, they have a lot of couples that work, right? Or no, they don't.
I don't think so. Actually, I don't see a lot of The Bachelor, but I did watch The Golden Bachelor.
How was that?
interesting because they really, but like, see, that's the thing. I feel like the Golden Bachelor was so overproduced in so many ways that I was like, okay, you really like the first 3 times you really tugged at my heartstrings, and now you're like
Is it okay?
doing
Wrap it up.
the most.
Wrap it
Right.
up.
But I think the most amazing part about the Golden Bachelor was being able to see all of these amazing, accomplished women.
That's pretty cool.
Like, especially if from a different like age group, and being able to see like how like mainstream media just like does not want to show women aging or different types of in any type of way, and that the girls are they're bad.
They're aging and they're dating and they're baddies.
They're looking
And
good.
they're baddies.
And they're looking good, and they're like there's there's a lack of humbling, I feel like, when it comes to narcissistic men in this industry,
In this industry, yeah.
world,
Yeah, in this
industry meaning dating world.
Right.
So I just feel like narcissism is one of the biggest reasons. Like, there's just a lot of sociopaths that like try to date,
Yeah.
and then other people are left gaslit because they're like, is this actually just what I have to settle with in order to not be by myself?
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I would say that. And also, as soon as the show is over, y'all break up. Like,
Right.
there's like 1 or 2 people who like end up staying couples, but then y'all break up because then everybody changes as soon as.
Also, it's like dating is like so contextual because it makes sense. It's like, okay, yeah, we worked when we had nothing to do but date, but it's like makes
Right.
sense. Are you gonna move in right away? Like, but I'm also just always gathering people like get married on TV. I'm like, that is just so like part of me is like, you know what? I love that. Like, I'm in my, I think recently I've been the past couple months, I feel like everyone's in their lover era. So now I'm in my, you know what? Everyone be crazy and stupid for love.
Right.
But getting married on TV is still too crazy. Like, from meeting to married during the course of a show, that's just
like Married at First Sight.
Married at First Sight, or like The Bachelor, where it's like
even Love is Blind.
Yeah.
They quite literally make you sign the papers on camera, and then they make them meet your family and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just.
So what show would you and your man go on? What dating show would you and your man go on? Because there's a lot for couples, like existing couples.
Honestly, I feel like I feel like I would not do well on a show like that.
Yes, you would.
I really would not. I feel like I would be so in my head about how I'm like chronically afraid of how I'm being perceived. So I like would not be present.
TV sounds great for
like,
you.
Literally, I would not be able to be present for 1 single second if there were 3 cameras. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like the show that I find the most interesting to analyze in terms of relationships, like, I think I just like how interactive reality TV is. Mm-hmm. Like, me and my boyfriend, like, he's like gotten into it now. Like now we be watching it together. I mean, he got sick of it after like the 7th show that we binged all day. And he's like, you know, maybe this is not good for my like brain.
Also, every dating show is the same. So when everyone's to be like, have you seen like He's the One or Over There or like We Got Love? I'm like, I haven't seen what's the one gimmick? I don't know. Like, I just have.
Most interesting to watch with him, The Ultimatum.
That one's crazy,
Because
isn't
they
it?
quite literally like go in with their partner of like 4 or 5 years, but there's always like a major like imbalance between one person wants to get married, one person doesn't.
Oh no.
And I was just like, why would y'all do that? Y'all
Yeah,
are
you
just
have to ask
exacerbating
yourself,
the
like,
issue.
after you do your like audition tape and you get cast, you have to ask yourself, like, oh,
Why?
are they casting us because we're a hot mess that
Right.
people like they can exploit? Or like are they
Right.
like casting us because we're like deeply in love? Like, I don't
Right.
know.
They just find the Delulu ones that they're like,
You
no, that's
gotta.
not what it is. But I think I will never be able to fully answer that first question that you asked me in terms of like, are anybody actually going and like looking for love if I'm not on a set and I could actually watch
Mhm.
like how much of like the producer's input, like because there's like a lot of stuff that floats around. They're like, they told me to do this, they know.
Yeah.
Be like, until I'm like a PA on a set or something and can really watch that happen.
No, until you're
I'm not
on the
going there.
set
Like,
and you are the star. Yeah.
right, exactly. Or you're like, you know, from the crew and you're like, oh wow, they
That's
have
how
an
they get down.
agenda.
They be getting down. They be
agenda.
getting like down like
Absolutely.
that. What's like the most heartbreaking dating story that you've seen on these shows? Because people get dogged the fuck out.
Yeah.
And like even like I'm also curious about like, because honestly, let's be real, it's usually the men dogging out the women in a crazy way. But like it's like, you know, you're on national TV, international TV. Why are you like so okay with being like the shittiest person in the world? Like I've never got that. But any like gaggy, like, wow, that was horrible for everyone involved.
I'm just remembering the Deepti and Shake situation. But like they're both like first gen, I think, American, like Indian American, I think. And Deepti was like incredible, like such an intelligent woman, like super kind, so fit, like body banging, like no, like
body
really. But
down.
then he kept saying like later on, like, you know, I really like her. But then after for Love Is Blind, like as soon as they see each other, there's always like a shift that happens, like like cinematography wise. And I'm like, come on. But like, 'cause then suddenly they see each other and they don't know if they're attracted to each other, whatever. But it's always the women that are like, well, mostly some. And you know, it varies case by case. But like Shake said this one thing like to like the boys whenever they're in like a boys whatever. He's just like, yeah, I want somebody that I can carry on my shoulders like at a music festival. And because she's like fit and like like her body is banging like but she's fit. But he was saying because she's not like stick thin, like that's not his type. So he ended up saying no at the altar, I think, or she
for
walked
marriage.
away, I don't remember.
Because I can't carry you on my shoulder at Coachella, I'm not going to marry you. That's crazy.
He's like, that's just my type. That's just my type. And that
that's
type,
I love girls on
conversation is so interesting. To
no,
me too.
I feel also type is so interesting because it's like, I don't know about you, but like I don't like. If you're sexy, you're sexy. In the terms of like, obviously, there's like things that you kind of gravitate towards, but like when people are like, I'm like, there's a person I know who like will only like someone's job is a part of their type, and I think that's so bizarre. Like your type can't. I guess physicality. You know, if you like a really brolic, like muscular person, like do that, like that. But when someone's like, you know, I only like tall, muscular, light skinned, goofy. I'm like, that's just a little too specific,
Because I'm also like, do you want a relationship or do you
or do you want to build like a bear? I don't know.
Literally like build a bear type. Like
that's,
hook up.
No,
you know, because then there's no sort of like spontaneous synergy. I feel like that's the whole point of a relationship is like y'all keep going because you're like, oh, different synergy, like all the parts of you that either contradict or complement each other. You're things and like keep finding a different synergy as different issues in your life. Like, I mean, that's a point of a long term relationship.
It has
but
nothing to do with whether that man's 6'2" or not. Okay?
Right, exactly. So I definitely feel like going into it with some sort of like to date being like, I'm gonna find the person I'm gonna marry right now is psychotic. Like you are projecting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then it's like, but why? Who am I meeting if not my future husband? You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not right at this point, but
it's like, are you really ready? Like, are you really emotionally ready to search for what it is that you need, like for yourself, or is it like
Beth? I don't know. Am I?
Let's unpack.
No, I don't know. I feel like I want to be. Yeah, whatever.
Are you ready to meet your husband? Like,
why did that stress me out? I guess not, because it stressed me out. Yes, I feel like I am ready to meet someone who I think would be my husband in 3 years. You know what I mean?
Trey,
No.
that's a schedule. You said on entrance.
No, no.
Cue the
I think about that too. Okay,
in 3
also,
years.
okay, this is good because actually, let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Ooh, singles and relationships.
Okay.
I am such a selfish person in
Mhm.
terms of my time. Maybe selfish is the wrong word.
Mhm.
Basically, I need a lot of like alone time, and I like to do things that I like to do when I like to do them. And I feel like one of my biggest qualms about like if I meet my husband tomorrow, it's being like, I just like considering what I want to do. And I feel like it's so hard considering other people like all the time. But do you feel like, for example, because I feel like I don't like people who become a couple. I like people who are their own people in a partnership.
Right.
And those people are like, this person actually just like really recently, I was talking to this person who said they just gave up eating guacamole because their partner doesn't like avocados. And I'm like, that's a little
I would
weird, right? Like,
die.
that's a little strange. So, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I would never be the person to give up eating
Something.
guacamole because my partner's like avocados. But I'm like, oh my gosh, just make me like a shit partner. Am I an awful, like, I don't know.
No.
But like, how much do you feel like you have to be with them all the time or talk to them all the time?
I
That's my biggest
don't
question
know.
about relationships. How much do you feel like I need to be with them all the time, talking all the time to feel like you're in a relationship?
I think it depends on how you guys connected to begin with. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because
the
then, like, I
concept.
feel like codependency, though, is a natural part of the honeymoon stage. I feel like it's like you have to stick to be able to have that connection, and then you have to unstick so you can just like float next to each other. If you know what I
That
mean.
actually makes sense. Like have the crescendo, so you have the
Right.
spark, and then learn how to be like
Right.
keep the spark, but be a regular
Yes.
person.
And I was
That makes a
yeah.
lot of sense. That seems
Yeah,
that
but
seems
I do
right to
think
me.
that a lot of people get it wrong, and especially I'm making everything so gendered, but it doesn't have to be a gender thing. But I feel like people who like consume, like for example, for me growing up, I felt like I was definitely on the receiving end of a lot of this like Hollywood. This is what romance is supposed to feel like. This is
Yes.
what it means to uphold a relationship. And then also my own immigrant ideas of like what were put on me of like, oh, this is how to be like a good like daughter, a good like these
Mm.
things. You know what I mean? So like and like I used to be like, well, I have to like uphold being a good person. And so, like, I feel like a lot of times, especially girlfriends are like, this is what it means to be a good girlfriend. Like, if I want a good boyfriend, I have to be a good girlfriend. And that comes with like giving up like a lot of things that you like, or for that, like, that's what love is, like the sacrificial love.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you just end up resenting each other if you do that. But I do think it's a natural part of unpacking all of the I guess like um propaganda of love that you
Yes.
are
The
pretty much like
propaganda of
yeah,
love. That is real. That is actually so
because then
real.
it's completely counterintuitive to actually what you need because you are like an individual and a specific person. So a relationship is something that's supposed to ebb and flow. Like you're both supposed to be like, I don't like that. Actually, game plan. Like let's change.
Right.
Let's change this way. Let's try this. You know what I mean? So then, if a relationship is like super rigid and you're like, this is what I want, and like, and also sometimes if you come into a relationship being like, no, I spent the past 3 years figuring out exactly what I want from a
Mm.
partner, and you need to meet these things. It doesn't feel the same way to receive that from somebody else at the same time, like that list.
Oh my
And then those don't
God.
like go. You know what I
No,
mean?
you literally just blew my mind. Okay, yes, wait. Wow, you're so sage. You know why? Because
So I just psychoanalyze
because you've been.
everyone.
You know what? That's the sign of someone in a healthy relationship, a long-term healthy relationship. Because I honestly don't feel like I know. Oh my God, do I know anyone who's been in a long-term healthy relationship like my age? Certainly not
I
from
mean,
fucking college. Like
right.
certain. Well, no, that's a lie. There are some couples who I have known. I'm not close to them that I've known
Right.
in college who are together who are still like they look like a nice like beautiful
Right.
situation. That's also nice to hear because I feel like a lot of my anxiety, because as I've said on this podcast many times before, I've never had a boyfriend.
Mhm.
Someone I don't know if I'm
But
ready though.
No.
But I've always been like, I think because I'm always looking for like the propaganda, specifically passion. I always think about how I'm such a passionate
Right.
person. So I'm like assuming I'm like, okay, well, I've never met someone who I would want to date because I've never met someone who makes me want to like lose my mind and going crazy. But like you're saying, that's not sustainable and that's not what you want. but it makes you feel like, sorry, what
No, I was gonna say like what you were saying about that feeling. I wanted that really badly. But the thing is, that is actually a second step. A lot of people think that's supposed to be the first step. And if it's the first steps, usually that's like a red
A
flag.
red
That's just
flag.
somebody
That's a
who
bad
like knows how to
situation.
make
Yeah.
you feel that way. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because that's an easy thing to make somebody feel. You just talk about them. the
And
whole
why
time.
would you
And-
like? Why would you be passionately in love immediately? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, or like psychically.
Because
Like,
then you don't
know?
even know me. So are you in love with an idea?
Yeah.
But I think I tell this to like all of my single friends. It's about curiosity in the beginning. If you're like, oh, interesting, like we get along, there's like a synergy, but like I'm actually curious about
A
you. Like,
hunger
I
for
wanna,
more.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Mm.
let that develop, and oftentimes if it's the right person for you, it's gonna snowball on its own. Like it's not something that you're gonna have to like pull somebody down an alley and then allow them to like see the light.
Yeah.
Like that's not how it's
And
gonna
that's the
happen.
other
And,
thing,
like,
though. That's the other thing that's so hard because it's like, you know, like it's like it has to be effort, right? You have to
Right.
like put it in. But I'm also like, then sometimes I'm like, well, like, what if like is it too much that I want a knight in shining armor to show up, be obsessed with me, and like the gay dating realm? And I feel like it's something I've that's helped me understand more about dating is that like, listen, sometimes we have roles, not sometimes, we all have roles, and it's like you should pivot and work with the role instead of working against it. And being a very tall, honestly, being a tall, dark-skinned black man, gay black man, it's like I've like when I was growing up, like I was always like, oh, I'm the baby girl, like I'm like the one I want to be like the pretty little princess.
Pampered.
And then when I started getting older, and I'm like, oh, like when I play the like little pretty princess role, it's kind of like it's just like fine, but it's like whatever. But when I play the hunter provider like big man role, like the response is amazing. Like people like because it's like it's you're playing the role. So it's like so that's also been like something else that I've like been like in dating. It's like you have to know what people are expecting of you. And if it is you, then like just play into it. And now I've found a lot of like now I really like it. Now I'm love like I love being like the like, you know, paying for dates, being like the I just like it. Like I really I know I have a little bit of a spoiling kink, which we've got to stop.
But
But it's
because it has to go the other way as well.
Right.
You know, but I do think that like I don't think those parts like the baby girl doesn't exist in you.
No,
anymore.
right. And
like
it's,
I think
and
she's
it's in
definitely
right,
still there. Right.
She's the baby girl.
Like baby girl.
Always.
Look.
The baby girl's never gonna go away.
Never.
But so how much of your theoretical list do you feel like you had before you met your boyfriend? How much does he match that? Because I'm assuming it's kind of like he just has his own, like he became his own list that was better than you could have ever thought. Right? Isn't that how it always kind of goes? But like, how much was it where if like this person, if you saw him on a dating, if you would have saw your boyfriend on a dating app, didn't know him, like
super like.
Oh, that's cute.
Super
okay,
like,
okay, that's.
But
cute.
I also had a very like different perception of him than like he really surprised me when I met him. I was like I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was a fuckboy. Right? Like I was like, so you attractive. Oh, okay, two can be attractive.
You evil.
Right, like that's how you know I came in with violence. And then he was so like attentive and like we like it felt like there was a synergy, like a friendship synergy, but we both found each other attractive, right? So then you had to, and then we were seeing it, but like I think I was like trying to rush into some sort of like, okay, let's just get like I know that this is not real, but I think it's because over time how you want to feel like you lose that and it becomes something where you're like where you start to settle and you start to give up on parts of yourself instead of being like, oh, maybe somebody who's more than my list is going to show up. Maybe there's other things that I'm not realizing that I also want.
And maybe I don't know what the best for me. Maybe there could be amazing things I even think about.
Right. But I think as you go through like bad dating experiences, you can feel like I'm just gonna have to settle or I'm going to have to be the villain, right? You know, and like that's not the right way to go about it. But look, I'm not gonna try to stop you from coping,
right?
Like,
right, whatever, live your journey, live your
it is what it is. But I do think that keeping an open mind and being curious about like who like the entirety of a person is something that allows you to be open when you actually do meet people. But I would say that like my partner met pretty much all of my expectations, but it's because I wasn't testing him from the beginning. I was just like there is no red flag yet. There is
Listen,
no red
all you
flag
want is
yet.
like, listen, he's cute and a good
Right,
person.
right.
That's really all that is.
And
yeah.
also talking about it, I feel like is communication. Like not
Yeah.
to be that girl, but
Yeah,
communication.
not to be the girl, but communication is
Right,
key. No,
but-
you
and
should
but-
be that girl.
And especially if like I'm somebody who's like a very anxious person, so I'm like, I need to talk about everything. Like even if it's as small as like, hey, like I found it kind of weird that
Are we
you
good? Are we okay?
like
You hate
walked
me?
by and you didn't say that my hair looked good, even though I put it in a bun instead of all the way down.
And I
Is
can put
that?
it in the bun.
And then he's like, no problem, no difference. Actually, I really like it.
He said-
and I was like, oh, so that's just okay, that's a me thing. Okay,
I'm
cool.
good. Well, honestly, I love it. I love hearing about positive relations. I feel like on Twitter and like the internet, I'm so sick of hearing about bad relationships. I want to hear about loving, doting partners. I
Right.
want to hear about like connection, and I want to hear about people in the long haul. And it was so lovely hearing about you and your long haul and your vision of love. Thank you so much for coming on Prattle. Please let them know, where can they find you, your mini find you, listen to you, watch you, everything. You're a multisensory
Oh.
experience. So I'll get into the Beth Million.
Yes, Beth Million. Check me out on Spotify. Bethlehem Million on Instagram. Yeah, check it out on all streaming platforms. Got a lot of music coming. Beth Million also on YouTube, but nobody said anything about my Drake cover when I was 16. That's about it.
Go run that up.
Run
And
it.
thank you all for finding Prattle. And I hope you like, subscribe, and I hope to see you on the next episode, everyone. And I hope to see you deep and in love.
Yes. And if you are Trey's husband and you see this, hit him up. Come
Hit
on now,
me
don't be
up,
shy.
Let me know. Thank you all for coming to another episode of Prattle, and I'll catch
Great.
you on the next one. Peace out. See ya. Bye.